in order to get information from Rhino or AutoCAD into Illustrator with layers, we're going to go over how to save the files properly and then how to open them up in Illustrator. So to go from AutoCAD to Illustrator is actually just going to be one less step than this. So we'll go over Rhino and then I'll show you how the AutoCAD sort of translates into that. So we have 5 different objects here that are on 5 different layers. So we set this up in one of the previous tutorials that we did. They're all 1 inch by 1 inch squares. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight them and go to File, Export Selected. So if you're going from Rhino, technically there is an option to just do an AI file out of here. So you can do an Adobe Illustrator file. I do not recommend doing that because it doesn't come out as precise. A lot of times if you have circles or anything like that, information gets lost as you're translating that file over. So I would recommend always using the DWG setting. Again, if we go into our options, we're going to click on 2007 polylines, go into your edit schemes, go into curves, and make sure yours by default will have explode polycurves checked. So just uncheck that and click save and then close. So what that's going to allow you to do is that anything that is a full joined polyline will remain a full joined polyline in Illustrator. So then we'll click OK, we'll save this out as temp3, and you can see here, because we're saving it as a DWG file, the same sort of process would go if you're saving out of AutoCAD. So you would want to save that file as a DWG. The only difference here is you can see when we go into our options, we're in 2007 polylines. So I'm not totally sure about new versions of Illustrator, but you're probably going to have to save your DWG down. You don't necessarily have to go down as far as 2007. But there's going to be options in AutoCAD to go down to like a 2013 DWG, and you're going to want to use those when you're exporting out to Illustrator. So click OK, then click Save, click OK, and then when we go into Illustrator, we're going to just do a file open, and then we're going to find our file. So we'll go to our desktop in temp3. When we go to open, we're going to have an option here for scale by. So if you don't actually care what scale it is, you can do scale to fit artboard. Here I'm going to do scale by 100%. So 1 unit in my Rhino file is going to equal 1 inch. So this would make it 1 to 1. And then we're going to click OK. So what we'll see here is that if we highlight this, if we change our units, so Control R will turn your rulers on. Then we can change this to inches, and then if we look at this, we have 1 inch by 1 inch boxes. So here we're at scale. Then if I'm going to actually default this back to our essentials, and if we look at this, we now have all of our different objects here. For some reason, your default layer, which was black, is going to default to white. So there is another object there. It's just a different color. So you can go in here, you will have all of your objects, and they will be on individual layers.